Hello and welcome to the Comics Atlas. This is the series where we talk about the complete history of comic book characters. Last week we witnessed as Matt Murdock fought side by side with Spider-Man against new villains. Said threats now bounce back and still try to hunt down the man without fear. We open with Daredevil making a visit to the office of Foggy Nelson. He calls the lawyer on his identity theft. Foggy realizes the prank has gone too far and the public is now thinking he is indeed the vigilante. Anyway, the scene moves to a nearby courthouse. The Gladiator is having his day in front of justice, but a group of undercover criminals intervene. They break away alongside the Gladiator and reveal the masked Marauder is their boss. The two evil ones meet as the Marauder orders his men to take care of Daredevil, believing he is really Foggy Nelson. The Gladiator won't take any order though, and predictably a battle begins. On another part of town, the underlings that were sent sooner arrive at Nelson's place. They want to shut him up permanently, but a patrolling Daredevil kicks their asses. The hero then learns they work for the Masked One. One of the beaten criminals that escaped confesses to his boss that they saw Daredevil and he definitely wasn't Foggy Nelson. Both the Gladiator and the Masked Marauder then decide to put aside their differences and become partners to silence their collective enemy. The next issue will be the return of the Owl. Daredevil returns to his office after a night of action only to find a group of home invaders. He lets them escape but knows they'll strike again, this time on his house. Matt gets to the place first and plays dumb in order to find out who the boss of these men is. He's kidnapped and taken to an island with the intent to defend someone in court. The accused is Judge Lewis. His crime was sentencing the Owl to prison when he was last caught by the police. Of course, it's a mock trial, but the Owl loves the staging and procedures, you know. The trial goes as you'd expect, with the Owl making the rules as he goes. Despite all this, Matt is able to take a break to change into Daredevil. Murdock then starts knocking the criminals the Owl gather in the island. Everything's going well when suddenly the man without fear is trapped inside a giant birdcage. He's thrown into a giant pit, but his billy club allows him to get a foot back up. The dance with the Owl continues as the old building they're on starts to crumble. The fat man is able to reach his forbidden chamber where he hides a giant mechanical owl. Now Daredevil has to fight the giant beast. The abomination gets out of control when Matt destroys its control panel and a huge explosion occurs. The Owl escapes and the hero is able to control the bird and retrieve the judge from the self-destroying island. The Owl gives Matthew one last present, making his machine explode after the men flying it are safe. Issue 22 is the return of the alliance of the Marauder and the Gladiator. Now working as a pure partnership, they want to take control of the Mafia, but now they have to get rid of Daredevil. A new machine will take care of that problem. Oh yeah, the man without fear wants to confess his love to Karen. Where have I seen this before? The machine will allow an android to become the perfect fighter in order to squash any meddling hero. They kidnap 3 capable men and channel their inner abilities into an android's body. Thus, the Tri-Man is born. His first assignment is to go to Madison Square Garden during a boxing match and call Daredevil for a fight. Matt's in his office and hears the news, but with Karen Page around he can simply jump into action. He tricks her secretary, going to MSG, and they lose each other in the crowd. Now the fight with the Tri-Man can begin. Murdock has no idea what's the deal with this android, but it's definitely packing a punch strong enough to compete with him. While this is happening, the Gladiator and the Marauder catch Karen and Foggy between the crowd. They know Daredevil has a connection with them and threaten to kill them if the hero doesn't comply. In time, the android is retrieved, but Matt follows it and reaches the base of operation of the villains. Seeing the 3 men trapped behind glass, he frees them so the Tri-Man is out of action. There's no thank you for Daredevil. Even when he rescues the men responsible for the life of the android, they attack him. They try their best, but they are no match for a superhero. It's up for the Marauder and the Gladiator to defeat Matt then. The yellow villain tries his luck first. At that moment, the Marauder gets greedy and makes his move. He talks to the Mafia, who were watching the action all along, and sends the other 2 men on their way to Europe with his levitating machine. They are supposed to kill each other in front of the mob bosses so the other villain can prove his worthiness to lead them. The battle is bitter, until a caged lion nearby is freed and attacks the Gladiator. Daredevil saves him and the fight ends in a draw. Both the Mafia and the Gladiator then ditch the Marauder and they decide to work together. The adventure ends with Murdock stuck in Europe with no clothes or money to make his way back to New York. The stories I cover in this episode weren't especially bad, but were also not especially good. The Masked Marauder is still trying to be sold as a genuine menace, but despite his inventions and connections he comes out as ineffective and lame. The Gladiator embraces his place as mindless bruiser. I actually like him more for that. The Owl is the Owl, nothing to write home about, and the Tri-Man was just a flash in the pan. Also at this point, who knows what the relationship between Karen and Matt is all about. Again, nothing offensive, but it seems the stories couldn't get into second gear at all. Anyway guys, that's all for today. Don't forget to leave your like, share and subscribe down below. This is the Comics Atlas and I wish you all a nice existence.